How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today is another episode of the Previously in DBS News Series I do. So this is the series I normally do every Sunday, going over the week's news in one video, so you don't have to go day by day for the week to check out what's been announced, and just see it in one easy to digest video. And for today we continue on the Set 19 spoilers and reveals, and so far Bandai just pumping them out loads because for this set, and until for the rest of October, we're getting 2 reveals a day, and we're getting loads of them. Like, we've already seen the all of red now. Like, now it have been all of red, green, yellow, outside the villainous cards that we saw in the trailer, and we're even now getting TPs and SPRs and stuff like that, and even had a first secret rare. So, before we get into the video, feel free to like this video if you do enjoy this series. Comment down below if there's any on your opinions on the video. It'd be nice to see what people your thoughts are. And also don't forget to subscribe, as it keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. Especially when you click the notification bell, you can get alerts when they do drop. And I also get to my goal of 1,000 subs, which I'm currently coming up to halfway there. And at 500, not only will I trigger a giveaway, but I'll detail what I'll be doing at 1,000 subs, which you're going to want to check out. So without further ado, let's get into the video and see what's revealed this week. So, starting off with finishing off the green stuff with Gogeta. We got a little bit last week, and we got a little bit more this week. So last week we got shown the leader and stuff, and a few of the bits. So like the Gogetas, the two Gogeta cards, and the card that is both Gogeta and Vegeta, Goku Vegeta, and one of the Gokus as well. So for this week we got the little Vegeta chain. So with this deck is all about. It looks to be all about comboing the charge of Z energy with your Gokus and Vegetas, and then playing them from your Z energy to then draw and play them on top from like a free area. So like you're comboing defensively, and then getting those cards back when you start playing them from using energies to make use of it. Because at the moment, green doesn't really have many generic cards like other colors do for just generic Z cards you play out. They're more like very archetype focused, which is just like an issue with green. Most of its stuff is very archetype specific. We don't often get just generic standard cards for green, which is a shame, and a lot of it's always high costing. And this deck is a good example of that. Like, this deck costs more than it should be. And for the Vegeta chain, we've got started with the 1-drop and the 3-drop and the 4-drop, and both the 3 and 4-drop 15Ks with EX evolves that require limit 1 that require 1 green, and that you draw a card as well to go on top of a green Vegeta BR of a certain cost. So the 3 goes on a 2 cost or less, and the 4 goes on a 3 cost or less. And they both have the same permanent, where this card's EX evolve can also be activated from your Z energy. So Z energy from your Z energy, EX evolving for your Z energy is a really nice thing, and nice little mechanic as well that we haven't seen yet until now. And the SSG Vegeta Crimson Impact, it has an auto when it's played. You choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 4 and KO it. So a nice bit of popping. That's just like a thing that green has. Green is all about destruction, and also another color identity for it is hand control. And with the 3-drop, it doesn't have an auto, but it does have deflect, which is very nice, and also has critical, so you can provide critical pressure. So normally, if you have a Goku Vegeta archetype, Goku's normally the double striker, and Vegeta is normally the critical hit because he hits hard and very, very devastatingly. Or so you hope in the anime. And then the 1-drop that it can all start off the chain from the go off on is Vegeta Limbering Up. So this has an auto where when this card is played from your hand, look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, and up to 1 Son Goku BR or Vegeta BR card among them, both green with energy cost of 6 or less. That allows you to switch out the 6-drop we had last week from your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So this is like a little searcher to start off these little chains that you evolve from Z energy, and also get a bit of searching as well. Very nice. You normally play a full 4 copies of the Vegeta, and how many copies you want of each of these evolve cards. So that's Vegeta's side of it. Let's move on to the Goku side of it, and our super combo for the color as well. So as we already saw the 4-drop for Goku, we now have his 3-drop and 1-drop, because like with Goku and Vegeta, when it comes to like the fusion decks, they both have the same, like similar cards, same costing, same stats and stuff, just a few different things on their effects from each side. So Goku is the same kind of Goku Limbering Up. So that's the same thing as Vegeta. Let's throw a Goku Vegeta from the top 7. And 1 toss, all the same stats. It's exactly the same as Vegeta, just is a Goku card. And then his free drop is Son Goku All Out Evolution. He has Deflect as well. Both free drops have Deflect. Same kind of thing where he evolves for 1, limit 1, by drawing a card and going on top of green Goku BR with energy cost of 2. Same permanent, can be EX evolved from the Z energy. But this one has an auto instead of having double strike or crit. He's got an auto where if your leader is a green Veku BR or green Gogeta BR, when this card's played, you draw one card and discard one card from your hand. So that's not too bad. You get to draw and then discard. And you get to put stuff in drop that you might want to use as well, or just filter through to find new cards and see what you're after. Because this deck seems like it draws quite a bit and keeps a healthy hand size, which is refreshing for green, really, to be honest. And then this super combo for green is Gogeta, and as we saw with the red one, we've got a new way, like new kind of type of super combos now. And this one's actually quite nice and quite refreshing as well, because it's Gogeta Battles Beginning, Super Combo 15k 2 cost, and its auto is if your leader is green and either your leader is a Z leader, you have 2 or more Z energy, or you have a Z battle card in play. When this card is using the combo, draw 1. So this is nice new kind of super combo. So it's gone back to how it used to be with the just drawing 1 from super combo. So we had that little stage of being able to draw 2 for super combos by doing something specific, like if I ever. Most of the time bottom decking a card to draw 2, and now we've gone back to the one, but a bit of a nicer condition to get the draw, using the new, like incorporating a new mechanic. So either being a Z lead, having 2 or more Z energy, or having a Z battle card in play, allows you to trigger this at any life total to draw a card, which is quite nice. Because some decks kind of do want this, where they awaken at a high life total, and it's nice to know we're getting some new super combos that can either help with it and kind of allow you to use them at high life rather than having to go down to 4 or less for like what most of them used to do. So that's the Goku side of it and the super combo, and now we get to the last 2 cards for it, green Gogeta, and that is the standard that every color normally gets. I don't think each one, but most archetypes now, they get like a skill list that comes in with it that doesn't really do anything for it. Just add an extra skill list for options if you want to play a skill list archetype, and that is in this case a Piccolo BR 2 cost skill list 20k of Piccolo. Nothing more to say to that. It doesn't really go well with many things. So yeah, it's just a skill list in the green, and the deck gets a counterplay, like a free counterplay. So both green decks get one of these things, where they get a extra card that kind of acts like a new dormant for the archetype, but it has like a little way to play it, either easier or cheaper. So this is Whis' Capriciousness. Cat attack limit 1 if your leader is a green Veku BR or green Gogeta BR card, then you only get the attack. Additionally, you may discard a green card from your hand, and if you do, your opponent can only attack 2 more times for the turn. So this is the same thing as I said with like Dormant, where it restricts your opponent to only having 2 attacks for the rest of the turn, but they get 2 attacks after it. So similar to Dormant, how if you use it on the first attack, you're not stopping the attack, you're just allowing them to only have 2 attacks including this attack, but this actually negates the attack, says you can have 2 more, and you have to stop the next 2 attacks, or kind of handle the next 2 attacks. It does limit your opponent to having a certain amount of attacks, but I just see it still as just being a nice negate. And you can play it for free as well, because it's got a permanent where if your leader is a green Gogeta BR card, and at least, well, as long as it's a green Gogeta BR card, and you have at least 1 Goku BR and 1 Vegeta BR card in your Z energy, then you could activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. So that's quite nice. That's the one way I like it, is that you can just use this as a free negate if you've got 1 Goku and 1 Vegeta BR card in your Z energy, just to use a free counter, which is quite nice. And that is it for the green Gogeta. So we move on from that, and it looks quite interesting. It's not amazing. It does look a little bit more interesting to me when the more I've looked into it, played it, from how I understand the mechanic of comboing defensively to charge Z energy, and then playing the cards back that you comboed off defensively with to draw more cards, trigger your awakened leader's awakened side to draw cards when you do that, and just draw back your hand after using it defensively. It seems quite interesting. I might try it, and also I do like myself some Gogeta decks. And now we move on to the next green archetype, which is the Broly one. So Broly get the same treatment. I think a good thing about this set is that mostly all the, I don't know if it's all or mostly all of the decks actually get a Z leader. Because one thing we had for the last set is not every deck got a Z leader. But in this deck, in this set, mostly all the leaders seem to be getting a Z leader, which is really nice. It's what it should have been for the first set. Every deck getting a Z leader to go with the archetype, because the whole point of Zenkai. And we're also getting other Z cards as well that actually either use with one archetype or use with both, which is quite interesting. So every deck looks to be getting a Z leader, which is what the first sets that have. So like decks like Turtle School got fucked over because they didn't get a Z leader, which would be nice to have. Or even with the trying to figure out the other ones now. The Goku, well, the blue Goku guy got one in a different, like, not really related to it properly. And there's only like, and even yellow, the Piccolo didn't get a Z leader, but that may change in this set because we see there's the Piccolo deck. But with the green Broly, it seems quite interesting. It's a extra card heavy archetype. It's like focused on extra cards, and I've seen a lot of people compare it to things like Frieza Prison or Broly, Red Broly. It's like similar to those decks in the fact that it uses extra cards, or it's like heavily restricted, but it is not exactly like them. It actually seems not too bad, and it's got an activate main on the front side, where once per turn you discard one card from your hand, look up to top 7 cards of your deck. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and then choose up to 2 of the 2 green extra cards among them to your hand, and place look up to 2, choose up to 2 green extra cards among them, place them under the leader, and then shuffle your deck. So essentially, you're negging 1 to look at top 7 and grab 2 extra cards, put them under your lead. And that helps go to your awakening, which has an alternative way to awaken, which is when you last at 4 or less, or you have 2 more energy and there are 5 more extra cards under this card. You draw 1, untap 1, and flip your leader over. So you can awaken, go down to a certain energy, you can awaken at a certain life. You can awaken at a full-on 8 life, which is quite interesting. And the discard's not doesn't seem like a big issue because you can use it to discard things that trigger and drops. If you want to use like the Barlock Draw Ape, you can use that. Just turn 1, discard an ape, then tap the energy if you're not going to use it to get a draw. So it's not too bad on the awaken side, as long as you incorporate the deck properly. And then when it awakens, you're now Broly, the Ultimate Saiyan. Now you have an auto when this card attacks. You draw 1 card, then you place up to 1 green extra card from your hand under this card. Notice this is up to, so you don't have to. And then add up to 1 green extra card from your drop in your Z energy. So that's a nice way that you can generate Z energy by just placing green extra cards. That's quite cool. Like if it's heavily reliant on extra cards, using them to charge your Z energy is quite nice. And you're still drawing a card and swing, so it's not too bad. Then it has 2 activate skills. So activate main once per turn. Place 1 green extra card from your hand on the discard to make your opponent discard 1 from the hand. So a bit of hand destruction if you want to go with a hand destruction route. That green has built into quite a few decks. Like if you want to go hand destruction with hand control with this, you can go with activate main. It's quite nice. You can basically making yourself lose a card. Well, not technically lose a card, because we'll see in a bit, but lose a card from your hand and make your opponent lose a card from their hand. And it's got an activate battle where you place 1 green extra card from under one of your Broly BR cards in its owner's drop. Choose it to one of your Broly BR cards and it gets 5k power for the battle. So that's any Broly BR card and any extra card from under any one of your Broly BR cards, be it itself or another one, to gain 5k power for the battle. So that's got like the Dark Broly kind of vibes, where you're able to discard a 30k Black Saiyan from your hand, a 30k power Black Saiyan in your hand to gain 5k power for the battle. And it's the same thing here, but like you put in the cards underneath your lead and you get that extra power built into the lead to just attach one underneath it, and then so that way you can swing with your lead on your turn to charge that to your Z energy, which is quite cool. So it seems quite interesting in that aspect. And then on to the Z leader. You're now SS Broly Awakened Might. And to do this, to drop this on your lead, you need to be at 4 less life, pay 1 green, and send 2 cards from your Z energy to drop to go on any green Broly BR. So this Z leader works with any of the old Broly BR, green Broly BR leaders as well, which is quite nice. A little bit of legacy support too. And now its auto is changed, so when it attacks, you look up the top. You look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, place 2 green extra cards among them under one of your Broly BR cards, and this card gains 10k power for the battle. So you get to put 2 green extra cards under any Broly BR cards, and then become a 25k for that swing. That's quite nice. Get a 25k is like a good sweet spot. And then you've got a new activate main, which is once per turn, by paying 1 green. If you have 4 more energy, you get to play up to 1 green Broly BR card with entry cost 8 from your hand. So you do get a new one you can play out with this from this new archetype, and you do get the old one from set 6 you can play it with this as well, which is actually a pretty good target. And now the activate battle, I think it's the same where you place one green extra card from under one of your Brody B cards in its drop. You choose up to one of your cards and it gains 5k power for the battle. So that's quite interesting. It's changed now where it's just still placing one green extra card from under any of your Brody BR cards in the drop, but now you get to choose any one card, not Brody BR card, any one card, and give it 5k power for the battle. So essentially by going to your Z leader you lose the effect of drawing, but you do get like a heavier swing and get more extra cards put under there to give more like have that extra power for battles and stuff like that, and then be able to cheat out 8 drops. So you go away from drawing and getting that hand control little aspect to now be able to play things out for cheap, some big threats for cheap, and put some pressure through with your lead. So that's quite interesting. And then go into some cards for the archetype. So we got 2 Z cards mainly for the Brody deck and a Paragus 1-drop. So the Paragus 1-drop is if your leader is a green Brody BR card. When this card is played from your hand, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck. Either add up to 1 green Brody BR card or 1 green extra card among them to your hand. Then shuffle your deck, and if you did add a green extra card to your hand, you get to place up to 1 green extra card from your hand under one of your green Brody BR cards. So this is a nice way to allow you to help fill that condition if you're putting up to 2 from the leader's effect on the unawakened side anyway. And if you want to get to 5 as soon as turn 2, you can always do this to try and find an extra card, put it straight under, so next turn you can get to your 5 instead of to 4. And it has an activate main, which seems odd. It doesn't really work with auto because remember the auto is when you played from hand, but it's a limit 1, send this card to its owner's warp, and at the start of your next main phase then you play this card from your warp. So you get to like hide it away for a turn, which is not too bad, but it could be useful for a card we'll see coming up. And then the Z battle cards are Chilai and Limo, Dependable Friends. So they're both 4k 1 cost Z battle cards that require 1 Z energy as well as 1 green energy, and they both have a limit, an auto and an activate main. So Chilai is quite interesting because it's also legacy support in a way. Its auto is limit 1 if your leader is a green Brody BR card. When this card is played, look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, place up to 1 green extra card among them to your under one of your green Brody BR cards, and then shuffle your deck. So there's another way to use the to help get cards under your lead. And its legacy support is in its activate main, which is limit 1. If your leader is a Shenron card, place up to 1 Dragon Ball card from your deck in your drop area and shuffle your deck. That's more support for the old green Chilai and Limo Wish leader if you want to use it in that. And then Limo, his also is if your leader is a green Brody BR card and you place 1 green extra card from your hand under your leader. When this card is removed from your battle area by his opponent's skill, draw a card. So if it goes, you can then help do what you want to do to get cards into your lead and then replace itself by drawing a card. So you lose nothing. So essentially you plus from this effect, which is quite nice if they remove this card. But that's only if it's removed from your battle by opponent's skill, so you got to make sure it's not attacked over. That is removed by a skill. Did its ever skill is activate main limit 1. If your leader is a green Brody BR card, during your opponent's next turn, reduce the energy cost of the first extra card you activate from under one of your Brody BR cards by 1 green. So this might make it a target for being removed by a skill if you keep it in active mode, because just every turn be able to go the next extra during your opponent's next turn, the energy cost of the first extra card you play is reduced by 1 green. Is really good to just make some of them free to play as well, and some of them are pretty decent. So let's have a look and see whatever cards we've got. So we've also got some Brody BR cards. So here's the 8-drop I was talking about that you can play out with this archetype to go along with the old one as well. You also get a 3-drop Broly, which is Bestial Rage. It's got two autos and activate main. 3 cost 15k. First auto is when this card is played, draw 1 card. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and she costs a 5 or less and KO it. So when you play this, you get to replace it in your hand with a draw, which is quite nice. So you're not losing card from that. It's like 10k cantrip. And then the second auto is when this card attacks, it gets 10k power for the turns, putting for a 20k pay pressure for the battle. Then near the end of the battle, you place this card in its owner's drop area and add it to 1 green extra card from your drop to your Z energy. So a nice way to just drop this down, draw a card, pop something, swing with it, become a 25k swing for what we're going to see is 1 energy, and then charge some more Z energy afterwards. That's pretty nice. And then the activate main, which is how you cheat out for cheaper, because you don't want to pay free energy for it. No one wants to pay the actual cost of anything anymore. Is limit 1, activate main for 1 green. If there are 4 more extra cards under your green Broly BR cards, so let you turn 2 for after you use your leader's effect twice. You get to play this card from your hand for 1. That's pretty decent. And then we got SS Broly Full Power Frenzy. So this is the 8 drop. That is 35k and Triple Strike. Has a nice little permanent for protection, where when this card will leave your battle area, you may place 5 extra cards from under this card under your leader instead. So that's quite nice. But you're going to wonder, how do you put extra cards in under there? You can do it with your lead. You can do it with other cards, but it also does it itself when it is played. You get to place up to 7 extra cards from your leader under this card, and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So this is how, like, if you got 5 under your lead, you can actually play this. When this is played, put 5 under your lead onto this. So if it will try to be removed, it's got a protection of putting them back under your lead to protect itself. So you can do at least 1. And if you put more under it, you can have that extra more protection. And a 35k triple striker that's hard to remove is not fun to go against. And if you don't want to play it by your lead, your Z lead anyway, you can activate his activate main, which is limit 1 for 2 green. If there are 10 or more cards under your green Broly BR card, so you can probably easily get 10 under your lead, play this card from your hand just for 2 energy. That's not too bad. And then one of the extra cards we get, which we're going to see from this one, is some of them, quite a few of them, have this permanent, where if your leader is a green Broly BR card, and this card is under a Broly BR card, you can activate this card's activate skills under the same conditions as if it were in your hand. So that essentially means if you've got this under your lead, you can trigger it as if it was in your hand, which is quite nice. And it's got 2 activate main skills, which are pretty decent. First one is limit 1. If your leader is a green Broly BRZ leader, your opponent may discard 2 cards from hand, but if they don't, during your opponent's next turn, the skill cost of any activate main skills on their cards in their hand and battle area is increased by 1. So that means that if they got any activate main skills during next turn and they don't discard 2, they've got to pay 1 anytime they want to activate main skill in their hand or battle area, which is it's not too bad. It's not amazing, but it's not too bad. It is a nice thing to just have. And is also a nice way to trigger from drop as well with its ever activate main, which is limit 1. Place 1 green extra card from your hand under your green Broly BR cards, and send this card from your drop to your warp to draw 1 card. So that's a nice way to filter through your deck. You get plus from this, but it is free from drop. You don't have to pay any energy, because remember, if you activate stuff for drop, unless it specifies a cost in the skill, and unless you're playing it from your hand, you get to play it for free from any other era. So this allows you to just place a green extra card from your hand on your leader, and then draw 1 by warping this from your drop. Not too bad, and it is kind of worthy as SR in the set. And then we go to some of the other extra cards we got for the deck. So some of the 0 cost ones. First one we got is Chilai's Aid. So this has the same kind of permanent where you can activate it for free, or you can activate it if it's under your leader, like you would if it's in your hand. And its skills: activate battle, limit 1. If your life is at 4 or less, choose up to one of your green Broly BR cards, and it gets plus 5k power for the turn. So that is really nice, just for free. If you got this in your leader, just to go, right, I've got 4 or less life, I'm going to give my leader a 5k boost for the turn to make it your leader a 20k base for the turn, which is really nice. So this is a really good extra card. Like, if we've seen that most outside, if they can put a 5k boost like with Bean on the lead to kind of make comboing out defensively easier, this is a really nice card to do that. And then we've got Control Rings Restraint. This doesn't have the permanent like most of them do, which is unfortunate. But its activate main is limit 1. If your leader is a green Broly BR card, you may add 1 green extra card from under your lead to use energy. If you do, and this card was placed from your hand in your drop, play this card from your drop under your leader. So that all didn't really trigger properly. Is essentially add green extra card from under your lead to your Z energy. So place 1 that's underneath it to use Z energy. And if you played this from your hand, if after you use this, you get to place it under your leader. So essentially you get to move an extra card for free under your lead to use the energy to place this in under your leader. So you get to just basically charge the energy for free essentially once a turn, which is quite nice. Then we have Cunning Murder. This is a nice reason to have Paragus stay on the board. Like, it makes its activate main make sense to warp it and come back. It's got the permanent where you can activate it for under your leader if it's in your hand. And its activate battle is limit 1. If your leader is a green Broly BR card, and you choose one of your green Paragus battle cards, negate its skills for the turn, and place it in its drop area. Look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck. Place up to 2 green extra cards among them to your hand under your leader, and then shuffle your deck. So another way to get more cards on your leader for free. Make use of that Paragus to add something, maybe even add this, and then kill the Paragus to basically, like in the film, make Broly stronger, help him flip over. So those are the 0 cost extra cards. We do have other ones that cost a little bit more, and they're all normally costing 1. So we've got Out of Control Power. It's another one of those because you can activate the activate skill from your under your lead if you were as if it was in your hand. And its activate skill is an activate main/battle, where if your leader is a green Broly BR card and your opponent has 3 or more battle cards in play, choose one of your leader cards or battle cards, and then choose all battle cards with power less than or equal to a chosen card's power and KO them all. So all you need for this to trigger is your opponent having 3 or more battle cards in play, pay 1 for it, and then choose one of your leader or battle card, and then pop all battle cards on the board that have less power than the chosen card. So that's quite nice, and as we saw, you can use the activate battle on your leader skill to pump it up to make this even stronger, and potentially board wipe huge power battle cards, which is quite interesting. And since activate main/battle, you can activate in your turn or your opponent's turn, which is quite cool. Remember, with the Lemo, you can make this essentially free to play from your lead, which is quite cool. And then we have Training with Bar, which is a counter attack. If your leader is a green Broly BR card, when this card is activated from your hand or under a card, negate the attack and add this card from your drop to your Z energy. So if you activate it from your hand or under your lead, you get the negate attack and put Citrus Z energy, so you're negating the attack and charging Z energy as well. And it has that permanent where if your leader is a green Broly BR card and this card's under a Broly BR card, you can activate this card's counter skill under the same conditions as if it were in your hand. So you essentially use it from under your lead, negate an attack, and then charge straight to Z energy, which is pretty sick. And then we've got Wishing to End the Battle. So similar to how the Gogeta deck had Whis' Capriciousness, we have Wishing to End the Battle. So this is if your leader is a green Broly BR card, Broly BR Z leader, negate the attack, then additionally you may place 2 extra cards from under one of your green Broly BR cards in his owner's drop areas. If you do, your opponent can only attack 2 more times for the turn. So then she's just like the Whis' Capriciousness, a card that can negate an attack and make it so and additionally do an extra thing to make it so your opponent can attack 2 more times, so negate and then only 2 more swings, but you need to be on as a Broly BR Z leader. And it has a permanent just like the Training with Bar where you can activate it under your lead. If your leader is a green Broly BR card, activate it from under your lead as if it were in your hand, which is quite cool. So it's quite an interesting deck, very extra card heavy, but quite interesting, and you can charge a lot of Z energy. It's just a shame that the Z energy, Z battle cards and Z deck options for green are quite poor generically. It's just a shame in that. But that is it for green, for the green archetypes. So now we move on to the yellow ones, and the first one we got is Slug. So Slug finally coming out with a yellow lead, as I think I know myself, some people might have been hoping for, because we did have the yellow Slug stuff, and we didn't really see much from it, like from Draft Ball 6. We had some yellow Slug stuff, and now we're getting more and more to go with that little bit we had in Draft Box. So we go from Lord Slug to Lord Slug in his prime, to then Lord Slug Colossal Conqueror. This I feel could be, if you remember from the finals prizing, when there's going to be a second giant leader card that's not Red Sin, that was going to be from this set. I feel like this could potentially be the leader or Z leader, which would be interesting because this guy Slug does in his film get gigantic, as we saw with the set 4. Colossal Warfare is one of the giant leaders there, and he starts off with some interesting skills. So first permanent he's got out of 2 is you start the game with 6 life, similar to King Piccolo, and that makes sense flavor wise since King Piccolo, both him and King Piccolo, they rejuvenate themselves. They use the balls to rejuvenate themselves. They come in quite old and frail, then use the balls to kind of like revive themselves, which is why it goes from 6 life and then awakens, and in awaken they will be gaining a life. So that's why that's in effect there. It's like a nice little flavor text some of these decks have from basically how they appear in the films or anime. And the other permanent is when a Slug's army card with a combo cost of 1 would leave your battle area. You may place one of your Z energy in your you may place it in your Z energy instead of set to the drop. And then if you do, you place one of your Z energy in its owner's drop instead, as after. So essentially, if you've got a Slug's Army card that has a combo cost of 1, and it will be removed from your battle area, put in your Z energy and send off something else instead. And it's got a nice little auto when you discard one Slug's Army card from your hand as a cost. When it attacks, you draw 2. So nice little Hirudegan levels of strength, but you're discarding specifically a Slug's Army, so focus on the archetype. So you're going to be heavily archetypical on Slug's Army. And gain quite a few cards by just swinging, discard 1, draw 2. It's not too bad. And it's got a quite conditional awakening, I would say, compared to the others. So it's either if your life's at 2 or less, which is I think it's still similar to King Piccolo, or your opponent has 2 or more energy, and 2 or more Slug's Army cards are in your Z energy, you may draw 2 cards that switches to 1 of your energy to active mode and add the top card of your deck to your life. Okay, so it's not as I'm thinking of the wrong card about like a very specific. So you just need to have 2 or less life, or your opponent have 2 or more energy and you have 2 or more Slug's Army in your Z energy, and you're essentially draw 2, untap 1, and gain a life. So you gain quite a bit, and it makes sense because otherwise you're just waking at 2 life, hence the draw 2, untap 1. But it seems odd that it is not draw 3 instead of draw 2, because it's you waken at 2 or less life, and like Sin and Bojack, who have the same kind of awakening, but they gain a but then technically adding the top card of your deck to your life technically makes it so you're 3 or less. Okay. And then on Lord Slug, in its prime, he's got the same kind of second permanent as he had, where when a Slug's Army with a combo cost of 1 would leave your battle area, you can place it in your Z energy instead, and if you do, place 1 card in your Z energy and you drop. Same auto on the front awakening side as well, so it keeps the discard 1 Slug's Army from your hand to then attack and draw 2. And now he's got an activate battle once per turn. For 1 yellow, use up to 1 mono yellow Slug's Army card with a combo cost of 1 from your drop in a combo with the skills you get for the turn. So this allows you to just pay 1 to combo with a 10, well essentially we're going to see a 10k combo for the battle. So paying 1 energy to combo from your drop for 1 for a 10k, free 10k, either player's turn as well is really nice. That's quite decent. And then if you want a Z Awaken, that requires you to be at 3 or less life by paying 1 yellow and sending 2 cards from your Z into your drop to play on top of a yellow slug. So it doesn't work with any of the other ones, but that'd be interesting if they allowed any Z leaders to go across colours. That would be pretty cool. I hope they do that in future though. And now it has a bond 3 permanent where this card gains double strike. So if you've got 3 battle cards on board, your leader's double strike, and at 20k base, that's quite hard hitting. And now you lose the whole auto of discarding a slug to draw 2 when you swing, to now having, and when it attacks, you draw 1, then use up to 1 mono yellow Slug's Army with a combo cost of 1 from your drop in a combo with skills to get for a turn. So essentially swinging and drawing 1 and comboing up for free from your drop to go to a 30k. So that's quite beastie. That's not too bad. And now you also have an activate battle, which is once per turn. Use up to 1 Slug's Army card from your hand in a combo. So the benefit with this activate battle is, even though you're comboing from hand, you're comboing hand for free, and it's any Slug's Army, and it doesn't have its skills negated like it does for the auto on this one, and the activate battle on the Leader's Awaken side. So that's quite interesting. It looks quite strong, quite cool in the lead, quite interesting, like very combo heavy. And let's have a look at some of the cards it has for it. So starting off with some of the 1-drops and the super combo for yellow, which in this case is a Wings. So first of all, we have the 2 1-drops in the deck that help you combo a little bit better and get some searches and stuff like that. So we have Kakuja and Gyoshu, the scientists of Lord Slug, and we have Wings, Lord Slug's henchman. So the yellow super combo is the same as the Gogeta we saw, apart from it's just if your leader's yellow, and basically same stats conditions apart from its different traits, character and error and stuff like that. But for these 1-drops, so the first one, Kakuja, they both have barrier, they're both 4Ks. Kakuja, it has an auto where it's a cantrip, when it's played draw 1. And it also has an auto where by paying 1 yellow, when this card is using the combo from your battle area, you get a look at 10 cards from the top of your deck, play up to 1 yellow Slug's Army card with an energy cost of 3 and combo cost of 1 among them, and if you do play a card, you get to shuffle 1 card from your hand into your deck. So that's quite nice, be able to just play from the top 10 cards of your deck, any Slug's Army with energy cost of 3 and a combo cost of 1. And remember, if it's removed from your, if this card you're playing is removed from your battle area by any means, KO, removed by skill, you get the Z charge instead and send a card from your Z energy to your drop. And normally you'll be comboing, since you're going to be comboing this off to play one of those, you're going to send this from your Z energy to your drop anyway. So that's quite a cool way. And top 10 is a good amount. It's very good. It looks for at least a quarter of your deck mostly if you play a 50 card deck. And you should rarely whiff, but then we have seen people do whiff of top 10 searches. And in Gyoshu, it's got a different one. So normally when you get archetypes, you get two 1-drops. One's a draw, one's a cantrip, and one's a searcher. And Gyoshu is a searcher because when it's played, you look at the 3 cards on top of your deck, and it's one Slug's Army card among your hand, and place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Now it does suck being a top 3 searcher. Top 3 is not great compared to other decks getting top 5 or top 7, and most of the time with these ones they're normally top 5. But since you're going to be heavy on the Slug's Army, it shouldn't matter because you should be seeing at least one from among them, which is quite decent. And he's got a similar kind of auto, which is when he's using the combo, which is auto by paying 1 yellow. When this card is using the combo from your battle area, you get to play up to 1 yellow Slug's Army card with entry cost of 3 and combo cost 1 from your hand. So Kakucha plays from the top 10 of your deck, Gyoshu plays from the top from your hand, but from playing from your deck you got at least bottom deck a card. Gyoshu, just since you're playing from hand, you don't minus yourself any more from your hand. So these are quite nice. And then let's have a look and see what things you can bring out with these restrictions, because most of these require a combo cost of 1 and energy cost of 3, which could be quite interesting. So we start off with the Angela card. So Angela has 3 cards. It has a 3 cost 4k, a 5 cost 16k, and a Z battle card. Starting with the one you can play off these 1-drops is Angela, Lord Slug's Henchman, 3 cost 4k with a 1 cost 10k combo. He has blocker and a permanent where Bond 2, while this card is in active mode, it gains barrier. So if you've got one of these 1-drops on the board and have this on the board, it's going to have barrier when active. It's also as if your leader is a Lord Slug card, as the cost. When this card is using the combo, choose up to one of your yellow Lord Slug army cards. It gains double strike for the battle. So it's like the inbuilt double striker, like we saw with things like King Piccolo and stuff. Like some of these decks are getting a way to give double strike to something to finish off, to kind of like have a less reliance on Champa. Maybe hitting that somewhere down the line and might hit it. And then activate battle, use up to 1 mono yellow Slugs Army. It's 1 mono yellow Slugs Army card with a combo cost of 1 from your hand in the combo and negate your skills for the game. Or this skill for the game. So that's quite interesting. As it allows you just the free combo Slugs Army with a combo cost of 1. And normally when it's a combo cost of 1, it's a 10k combo. So you're kind of like comboing quite heavily in some of these combos as well. But it doesn't negate this skill for the game after that. And as well, it is just a 4k blocker, so that's not too bad. And if you do block with this, remove it, you get to put this in your Z energy and send something else off or itself from your drop for your Z energy drop, which is quite nice to charge for certain requirements. And we got the 5-drop Angela restricted options. So this 5 costs 16k with blocker, permanent, bond 2, similar to the other one where this card is an active mode against barrier. And it's also is once per turn when you activate this card's blocker skill. You get to draw 1 card and choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, which is the rest mode, so that's pretty nice. Just trigger blocker, draw a card, and then rest something, which is like in theme with yellow. And the way to cheat out, because you don't want to pay 5 for this, is activate main. Limit 1 by paying 1 yellow if you have an Angela card with energy cost of 3 and a combo cost of 1 in your Z energy, which you can quite easily pull off. Play this card from your hand. So just 1 energy to play this out, it's not too bad, and have a nice barrier. Potentially barrier blocker that you can then gain draws from, and also rest things. So that's quite decent. It's not a bad Angela card. And then the Z battle card Angela is defensive prowess. This is a 1 cost Z battle card that requires 1 Z energy and it's a 4k blocker. Permanent bond 2 Slugs Army. This card gains 11k power during your turn. So during your turn it can be a 15k attacker, while if you want to, but it'd be a 4k blocker in your opponent's turn. And as an auto, limit 1. When this card is played, look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 Slug's Army card with energy cost of 5 or less among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. And if you added a card from your hand, you get to place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, or place 1 of your battle cards with a combo cost of 1 in its owner's drop. So that's quite weird restrictions, but then, yeah. with a combo cost of 1, that allows you to trigger at least to put the in your Z energy if you need to, without losing a card from hand, which is quite interesting. Those are the Angela cards. Then we go on to the other ones. So we got Madamacha, and we got the Zuin being yellow's free cost 30k skillless. So this is yellow's skillless. It's a 30k beat stick. It's 0.5k, so it doesn't go with most of the ones that require free cost and 1k Scott combo. But that would suck having a skillless card having one cost 10k combo though. So for the meta matcher, as we're seeing with some of them, they have a 3 and a 5 cost, with the 5 cost being a 0 cost 5k and the 3 cost being a 1 cost 10k. So mana matches is a unique dual attacking 3 cost 10k with a permanent of bond 4, so you've got at least 4 cards in your battle area to gain 5k to make it a 15k dual attacker. That's quite a lot of requirements. But it also has an auto once per turn. When this card attacks, you play 1 meta token, and the meta tokens have a 5k combo power, 0 combo cost, and 5k combo power, so that's not too bad. You get to spam out some of these tokens as you keep swinging. That's not too bad to get that bond 4 a little bit easier. And the other autos, if your leader is a Lord Slug card, when this card is using the combo, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch to rest mode. So more comboing to rest things like it's in Vima Yellow. And then Meta Matcher Body Splitter. This one's got a permanent with bond 3 that gains dual attack. So just 2 other cards on board and it gains dual attack. And also this has a similar thing when it's played. You play 1 meta token. So when it's come down, you're playing itself out and a meta token. So you at least just need 1 more card that you already had on board. Hopefully we can put out for free to get that dual attacking on it. And similar to the 5-drop Angela, it's got a way to play it for cheaper, which is at main limit 1. For 1 yellow, if a meta matcher card with entry cost of 3 and combo cost of 1 is in your Z energy, you get to play this card from your hand. So more ways to just play it for cheap on these 5 drops, which is quite cool. It's not too bad. And then, yeah, some of these cards are quite interesting. And then we get onto the slug cards. So for slug, we've got a 3-drop, 5-drop, and an 8-drop. And funny thing is, the 3 and the 5-drop have 1 cost 10k combo power and a 10k power. And the slug 8-drop is a 0 cost 5k and 30k power. So these are the SRs and rares for the deck. So 3-drop ones, Lord Slug Craving for you. He's got Deflect and Unique. Two autos, first one being when it attacks, you play up to 1 yellow Slug's Army card with entry cost of 1 from your deck, and then shuffle your deck. This card gains 5k power for the turn. So that's a nice way to still swing as a 15k and free play out a 1-drop from your deck. That can either be one of the either Kuja or Goshu, or it could even play out the 1-drop slug from the draft box one, which can help get this out, play this out cheaper as well from your hand, which is quite interesting. Nice little synergy with the old stuff. And its second auto is if your leader is a yellow Lord Slug card. When this card is using the combo, it gets 5k combo power for the battle. So that's quite cool, being able to be on my 15k combo if used in a combo from any area as well, which is quite nice. We do have some skills on the lead that negate the skills for the on the card you combo with. But if you do the Z leader's effect combo from hand, you get a 15k for free, which is quite nice. And then we have Lord Slug Cruel Overlord. So this is the 5-drop with Deflect and Dual Attack. And he's also similar, got a permanent where bond 3. This card gains Double Strike. And his auto is when this card attacks, you use up to 1 mono yellow Slug's Army card with a combo cost of 1 from your drop in the combo with the skills negate for the turn to get that extra Z energy a bit easier and combo quite heavily. And it's not once per turn the auto, so you can do it on both swings, which is quite fun. And the way to cheat out is activate main limit 1 by paying 2 yellow. If you have 3 or more energy and a Lord Slug with entry cost of 3 and combo cost of 1 in your Z energy, play this card from your hand. So essentially all you need to do is have this the 3-drop slug in your Z energy, and in turn 3 you can drop this down to be able to have a dual attacking card that can combo 2 and threaten double strike if you've got 2 other cards on board with it. So these are quite nice, these are quite interesting. It just seems quite weird how how it plays, but it does look like a lot of fun. And then the big boss card being Lord Slug Colossal Destroyer. So this is a 8 cost 30k with triple strike. So it's not immune to counter plays, but is out the range of the Freezer Charismatic. So it's out the way of the green one, but still subject to the other ones for the other colours. And its first auto is when it's played, you play up to 2 Slug's Army cards with entry cost of 3 or less that don't have Lord Slug in their character names from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So you play them with their effects in play as well. So you play up 2 other cards to have their effects in play, which is quite cool. They just got not beast Lord Slug cards. And then the Ever Auto, which requires bond free, which if you trigger the first auto, makes it live anyway, is when this card attacks, if you have a Z battle card in play, you use up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons, and it can't attack during your opponent's next turn, so locking something down when it swings, which is quite interesting. And then activate main is how you're going to cheat it out for cheaper, so by paying for 3 yellow if you have 4 or more energy, and there are 2 Lord Slug cards with a combo cost of 1 in your Z energy, with energy cost of 3 and one with energy cost of 3 and one with energy cost of 5, you get a player's card from your hand. So this is a card I was referring to earlier when I said it's got like a heavy condition to be able to play. So not only do you have to have 3 yellow energy, pay 3 yellow energy, you have to have 4 more energy to be able to do this, and have 2 Lord Slug cards in with combo cost of 1 in your Z energy, and 1 needs to be a 3 drop and 1 needs a 5 drop. So essentially you need to go turn 4, pay 3 yellow, have 1 each of these 2 Ever Lord Slugs in your Z energy to play this from your hand. Now that seems like a lot of hoops to be able to drop this, compared to some other cards we got in previous sets, like the Red Sin, which all that requires you to do is be at 3 energy, pay 2 red, and have a certain kind of unison leader or any red Z leader to just drop it. That seems heavily restricted compared to that, and other ones that just need to have a little bit easier. This seems like heavy conditions just to be able to drop this, very specific requirements, which is not great. But it's quite interesting though, this does look like a fun deck. So let's move on to the other yellow set, because we got all the yellow cards, so we'll have a look at the other one. And the other one is the Piccolo. So once again we get a third in a row yellow Piccolo lead, and a second in a row Piccolo SH1. So if you didn't like the yellow Piccolo SH lead from the last set, Bandai tried it again to see if you could like it this time, and this one looks a lot more interesting, a lot better. Because the issue I found with the Piccolo from the set we're currently using, and not from the set 18, is that it was similar to the Pycon deck back in set 12, where it was Pycon on the lead, but the deck was actually a Gohan deck. Like with the Pycon for set 12, it was Pycon on the lead, but the whole deck was a Gogeta deck, and same with the last one, it was Piccolo was on the lead, but the whole deck was a Gohan deck, which wasn't interesting. And this is more involved with Piccolo for this one, which is quite nice, and yeah, it looks a lot more interesting with how it works. So on the front side, it's got a standard auto. It's Piccolo SH card with 10k power. With its actuals 1. It's got an activate main, which is a 1 use, which is place up to 1 yellow plan SH card with entry cost of 2 or less from your deck under this card and shuffle your deck, and negate your skill for the game. And there's a target we'll see in a bit. That's a good option to go underneath it. And it's got a very nice awaken when your life is a 4 or less, or you have a Shenron SHC battle card in play. You draw 1, untap 1, and take your life down to 6, then flip over. So you can awaken as early as turn 2, which is quite cool with this. And when you awaken, you're now Piccolo, yet unseen power, so you become Orange Piccolo essentially. And now you have Blocker, or 15k, you have 3 autos. First one is when it attacks, draw 1, you keep that swing draw 1 effect, which is way better than the Ever Piccolo lead, as the other one just made it so you didn't really gain anything from attacking. You always had to discard a card after you drew, just draw and discard, so you're not really gaining anything from attacking. This one does, thank God. And it also has an auto when it activates Blocker, it gets 10k power for that battle, so that's a nice way to draw things away from your Z leader of battle cards, and to have a 25k card for that battle, which is quite useful. And you can still attack with it and have all that trigger, because its last auto is at the end of your turn, switches card to active mode, which is quite cool. It does get shut down by anything that would keep it locked down, which sucks, but there's not many of those. And yeah, but you get the attack with it, draw a card, and then restand. So in your turn, you can activate Blocker to protect something. And also as a Z leader, which also works with the Piccolo from the set before, which is a 20k Piccolo Z leader, which requires you to pay 2 energy when your life's at 3 or less, and send 2 cards from your Z deck to your Z energy to your drop, and go on top of any yellow Piccolo SH cards. So that's this leader and the previous leader. And now it's got a few different effects now. So there's also, now when it attacks, is choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it, so a nice bit of removal. And you might be thinking, does it lose a draw? No, it doesn't, because it's got a nice little auto once per turn. When you use a card in a combo, you get to draw a card and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode. So not only do you get to combo out of something, you also get the draw card to replace that card you just comboed to help get your Z energy while not losing hand. And also as well, stop another potential threat from attacking by resting one of your opponent's battle cards, which is quite good. I love this. It's quite good. And there is a way to do the Z Awaken for a bit cheaper as well, which is seen in this bit. And it's got an activate battle with once per turn by paying 1 and sending 2 Master's Teaching cards from your dropper to your warp. So that is a new special trait we get in this set. You get to choose up to one of your Piccolo SH cards, any one of them being lead or a battle card or unison, whatever. And it gets double strike for the battle. So you got a way to give your leader double strike for the battle as well, to kind of push through with that by just paying 1 and sending 2 Master Teachings when you drop to your warp. So overall, I think just as the lead on its own is a lot better than the last one, and looks quite decent for a yellow Piccolo lead. Just like almost as good, I would say, as the one we got for set 17 as well, because I love that deck and that lead. Now let's have a look for the archetypes. The archetype is heavily focused on Gohan and Piccolo. They're like bond together as master and student. But before we get into that, we have 2 Z cards that are mainly for this, and the Panyon we're going to be putting on the lead with its effect. So first we'll start off with the Shenron that helps you Z awaken quicker, and that is Shenron Grant of Wishes, a 1 cost 15k that requires 1 Z energy. Has Deflect unique and the permanent like mostly every Shenron card has, that's not a Mega or a Sin, or the Shadow Dragons, being when this card can attack, it's fair enough. Really I think it should have Barrier, but it is what it is. And it's also as if your leader is a yellow Piccolo SH card and you switch this card to rest mode, when you add one of your cards to your Z energy, you draw a card. So that's quite nice. You can combo from your hand, Z charge while it's on board, and then replace the card by drawing a card. So that's not too bad. Quite a nice draw engine in it. And you got activate main once per turn. If you have 7 or more Z energy, choose up to one of your Piccolo SH cards, and it gets 5k power for the turn. So you have to ramp up a quite heavy amount of Z energy, but that's not too bad really. It's just a nice effect to get 5k, so it's not too bad. It's mainly the auto that's going to be the best part about this Shenron. And then we have Krillin, Trusty Assistant. This is the Ever Z battle card that requires the same 1 Z energy and 1 yellow energy. It's a 4k and a blocker. And this is how you're going to awaken Z Awaken for cheap, well, cheaper than usual with his auto at limit 1. When this card is played, reduce the Z Awaken skill cost of Piccolo SH cards in your deck by 2. Now, it's not sure yet if it's for the game, for the turn, or anything like that. We need to wait for confirmation from Bandai when the set comes close to release, because remember it hasn't been released yet, it's just spoiler season, so we don't know yet by the wording if that's for the game or for the turn. And then the pan you'll be grabbing and putting under your lead from your deck with the Piccolo's Awaken Activate Main, Unawakened Activate Main, is this pan, Remarkable Improvement. It has 2 activate skills, Activate Main and Battle, both limit 1, both costing 1 yellow. The first one, the Activate Main, is play this card from under your Piccolo SH leader, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and rest mode and KO it. And the other one is, if this card is under your Piccolo SH leader, choose up to one of your battle cards with Son Gohan, its character name, and it gets 5k power for the turn. So you get to, if you play say these Son Gohan cards that play some of the stuff from the set before, in the deck, you get to pay 1 that gives them your Son Gohan cards 5k power for the turn, which is quite cool, and that's usable from under your lead. So there's the little extra cards we got for this deck, which you probably have to play at least 1 of each in their respective decks. And then with the Master's Teaching stuff, so as I said, this deck is all about Piccolo and Gohan, their journey through as student and master and pupil. So we've got 2 1-drops being Piccolo Moon Destroyer and Son Gohan and Piccolo Moments Respite. So they go for different they go through the different sagas and for different moments through. So we got the Piccolo Moon Destroyer being from the Saiyan saga. He has an auto when it's played. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add it to 1 yellow card with entry cost of 5 or less, and Gohan and Piccolo in its character name among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So we'll see that search for a majority of the deck of the cards, and it's quite a nice one. And it also gives you an option to have some Filled Hate as well, which is quite limited in this game at the moment, which is an activate main once per turn by paying 2 yellow. If your leader is a Piccolo SH card, you choose up to 1 filled extra card in the battle area, so either yours or your opponent's. Place it in his drop, choose up to one of your cards with Son Gohan its character name in active mode, and switch to the rest mode, and that card can't be attacked until the well, that card can't be attacked until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you rest the Gohan, but it can't be attacked until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is not too bad. And it's a nice little field removal in yellow for this deck that is quite, as I said, quite limited. Then we got Son Gohan and Piccolo, Moments Respite. We got a permanent where while a card with Pan in its character name is under this card, it gains blocker. And its auto is when this card activates blocker, add up to one card with Pan in its character name from under this card to its owner's hand. So you get to, and I think there's a Pan you can play out for free or draw one, and do some effects, and then you can just use you can use the activate main to put underneath it, so you've got like a little loop with this where you activate main. Once per turn, if your leader is a Piccolo SH card, choose up to one of your yellow battle cards with Pan in its character name and place it under this card. So I think there is a Pan you can play for free from the old set. So you play that, draw a card, use the activate main to put that as under this card, then use this to block, and then when you activate block, add that Pan back to your hand from underneath it, which is quite interesting to get a little bit of a loop. Because this is also a Gohan, Adolescence, and a Piccolo as well. So it's got Gohan in its name. And another card that's got Gohan and Piccolo both in the character is Gohan and Piccolo Training's Beginnings. This is a 2-cost 10k with Deflect. When this card is killed, look up to 5 cards on top of your deck, add up to one Master's Teachings card among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. And a nice little activate battle where limit 1 for 1 yellow. If your leader is a Piccolo SH card, you have 2 or more energy, you add this card to his owner's hand from your combo and place one Master's Teachings card from your combo in its area in its drop. You draw a card, play it to one Master's Teachings card with entry cost of 3 or less from your hand, and that card gains 5k power for the turn. And we'll see in a sec what those 3 options are, because there's 3 different options. But it seems a lot of work just to get the drop of free drop, where most of this is looking like you can just play some of the older stuff, along with some of the better ones we'll see in a bit, instead of going for playing all this. Because you remember, with some archetypes, you have to play the whole lot to be good. Some bits are good, some bits are bad. You play with, and yellow is one of those colours which has a lot of good generic cards you can play in the slots. That's not the archetype. But all these are good also targets for as well. Assimilated, which allows you to, there's a 0 cost extra card allows you to search any yellow or green Namekian card from your deck out to your hand. So these are all nice targets for that if you want to add that to riposte and for yellow to search these. And then the 3-cost targets to play off that 2-cost, we have Son Gohan and Piccolo Desperate Defense, Son Gohan and Piccolo Master Student Bond, and Piccolo Mentor's Rage. So only one of these is just a Piccolo, and once again they're all for different sagas. You've got the Saiyan Saga, Android Cell Saga at different points. So first one is a blocker with auto limit 1 if your leader is a Piccolo SH card. When one of your cards with Son Gohan in its character name is attacked, play this card from your hand in rest mode and switch the target of the attack to it. That's quite nice. You get to you get to play a Gohan with a character in it. Like if a Gohan card is attacked, you get to play this card from your hand and switch it to it. That's really interesting. So at least, it allows you to block one of your Gohan cards, and there's Gohan's Z Battle card, which you can use this to protect it if they want to attack into it, which is quite cool. And a nice activate battle once per turn, plays up to one Master's Teachings card from your combo at the bottom of your deck. Draw one and choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier and negate his skills for the turn. So that's a nice little skill. Because you can play this for free off just for using the auto if Gohan's being attacked. And then you get a way to just combo draw and then just negate skills through barrier, which is pretty cool. That is really nice. You don't often get that, and normally you got to pay 1 energy for Final Flash to do that kind of thing. And as well as that, we have Son Gohan and Piccolo Master Student Bond. This one's got 2 activate skills. First one being activate main once per turn. Choose up to one of your battle cards with Son Gohan in its character name, and it gains Master's Teachings until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you can give something that doesn't have Master's Teachings, Master's Teachings. And the activate battle is once per turn. If your leader is a Piccolo SH card and you have 3 or more energy, choose up to one Master's Teachings card in your battle area, and it gains 10k power for the battle. So you can give one you go on cards the Master's Teachings one if it doesn't already have it, the little trait, and then also choose something activate battle to give a 10k power boost for the battle, which is interesting. So there's a lot of work to try and get this out to do it, and it seems quite an odd archetype. And then you got Piccolo Mentor's Rage. This one has 2 autos. The first one being a limit 1 is when this card is played, add up to one yellow Master's Teachings card with entry cost of 5 from your deck to your hand and shuffle your deck. So if you play this off that 2 cost, you get an instantly search through your deck to find a energy cost of 5 Master's Teachings, that's yellow. And then the other auto is when one of your battle cards with Son Gohan in its character name attacks or is attacked, you may return this card to its owner's hand, and if you do, negate the skill for the turn. So what if you wonder about negate the skill for the turn, it means if you've got multiple of these on board, you can only trigger one. Even if you want to trigger multiple of them, you can only trigger one and resolve it. And yeah, these are some interesting ones, but we'll go on to the better cards for the deck. So better cards for the deck are these, well, at least these first two, and then the 6-drop as well. So we got the 5-drop, Son Gohan and Piccolo Full Power Training, has a little bit of a swap to get into this 8-drop, which is quite strong. And the 8-drop is Son Gohan and Piccolo Master Student Combination. So we go from they're both part of the Universal Survivor Saga. And then we got Piccolo New Evolution, which is from the Superhero Saga, a 6-drop with which you could EX Evolve on. So with the 5-drop, this is the one you can search off that 3-drop Piccolo. It's a deflect 20k with a swap 8. By paying 1 yellow, you had to switch into a yellow Masters Trading with energy cost of 8. So that's this one here, and one we'll see in future in the set, which we got spoiled. Just wait for it to be officially released, revealed at least. And then if you do activate, and the auto triggers if you do use a swap, because it's when this card is added to your hand by swap. Choose it to one of your Master's Teachings cards, and it gets 6k power for the battle and critical for the turn. So you can make this 8-drop that you play out a 30k critical that has barrier as well. And it's got a way to play it out for cheap, because you're wondering how you play this out. You don't have to play it for all these little gimmicks and stuff. You can just use the activate main, limit 1. By paying 1 yellow, if your leader card is a yellow Piccolo SH card and you have 3 and 1 energy, play this card from your hand. So once you get the 3, you can play this out for just 1, as long as you've got the Piccolo leader. That's Piccolo SH. And then just swing with it, then swap 8 for 1 yellow into an 8-drop Master's Teachings, which is quite cool. So a nice little easy one to do, and a nice little bit of the archetype. And as well as that, you get to go in, as I said, an option is Son Gohan and Piccolo Master Student Combination. So this one has barriers 24k, and an activate battle will limit 1 if it's your opponent's turn. You choose it to one of your cards, and its power becomes the attacking card's original power. And at the end of the battle, the chosen card's power reverts to its original value, and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and ignore barrier and KO it. So essentially, if your opponent tries to attack with something and you don't want to, you either don't want to take the damage, it's a lot stronger, you can use this to make the power similar to the card's original power, to make it so you can try and combo out if they just didn't combo, or you have more combo power to try and out combo it. And then the card you chose of yours goes back to its original power, and then you get to pop one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and non-barrier, which is quite nice. That's a really nice effect, and it's SR worthy. Both of these are SR worthy, really. Then we got Piccolo New Evolution. So this is a dual attack, 19k EX Evolve. That requires 1 yellow if you have 3 more energy on top of a yellow Piccolo. And its also is if you have a yellow Shenron SHZ battle card in play, when this card is played, choose it to one of your yellow Shenron SHZ battle cards, switch it and this card into active mode. So if you say you attack with something, that's attack with a yellow Piccolo, and it's in rest mode and you evolve on top of it, you can restand it as long as you have a Shenron SH battle card in play, because that's the cost. And as ever, also is limit 1 if your leader is a Piccolo SH card. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So a nice bit of removal from this as well, which is quite nice. And then we have the last little bits of yellow that work for either, well, mostly either one. Like we got the Slow Slug bits and a Unison that works for either archetype. So the Unison is Guru for all mechas. So this is one of the first Unisons we've seen for this set. I know a lot of people I know were wondering if they're ever going to be one. And it's Guru for all the Namekians, a 4 specified cost 1k Unison. But you could get a lot more markers and not pay 4 for it, because it's activate main. For 2 yellow, if your leader is a yellow Namekian, which you've got a few options now, a fair few, and you have a yellow Namekian in your battle area, you get to play this card from your hand with 7 markers on it. Now, it's good to have 7 markers, comes down with 7 markers, because it's got 2 marker skills and they're both -1s. First one is an auto for -1. When your opponent attacks, choose up to one of your Namekian cards, it gets 5k power for the battle. And the other one is -2 for activate main. Look up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Play up to 1 yellow Namekian card with energy cost of 1 among them, and then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So it's not great because it's -2 for a very lackluster Unison that requires 2 to come in, and you're only looking at top 3 to play a 1-drop. If it was top 5 or 7 or something like that, that would be fair enough, but top 3 isn't a good selection, so I don't think it's going to be really used, this unison. And then the 2 extra cards we got for Slug. These are Cling to Life. So this is Activate Battle. Choose up to one of your Slug's army cards and it gets 5k power for the turn. And additionally, if it's your opponent's turn, you get to use up to one Slug's army card with a combo cost of 1 from your hand in the combo. So that's quite nice. It's like a 5k combo for the turn. Yeah, give any of your Slug's army cards 5k combo for the 5 power for the turn. So that's like a little bean. Give the 5k power for the turn. And then if you do it defensively, you can also get the free combo, a Slug's army with a combo cost of 1 from your hand as well, and some of them gain effects when they're comboed as well, which is quite cool. Or just to put that in your Z energy if you need it. And you also get one of those free negates we've seen for a little bit in green, which is Gohan Whistles. This is a counter attack, limit 1. If your leader is a Lord Slug card, and you choose one of your Lord Slug cards and have it gain minus 5k power for the turn as the cost. You get negate attack and choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 and less, and switch to the rest mode. And note, there's just any Lord Slug. You just need to have any Lord Slug leader and choose any of your Lord Slug cards and get minus 5k for the turn. And so that gives you option for any of the green ones or the new yellow one. And this is interesting because it's not often you get to see a green deck have a way to rest things and negate an attack and then rest 4 cost or less in one of the green slugs. It'd be quite cool. And you can play it for free, like you can with the other ones, by using the permanent, which is Bond 2, so you need two battle cards on board. If your life is 3 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill for your hand without paying its energy cost. So that's quite nice there. And that is it for yellow. So then we move on to a little bit of blue we got. So we got shown blue, but then Bandai just jumped straight out of showing, keeping in their little rhythm of going 4 parts of the archetype. So they revolved one side of blue and it showed the other one. Yeah, we still got quite a few days until the set's released and spoilers are over. So we'll go into the first bit of blue. So the first one they showed us from blue was the Gotenks one. So we got that kind of hinted when we saw some of the cards from San Diego Comic, or one of the Comic Cons in America. They showed that one of them mentioned about a Gotenks lead, so we knew that was coming. So for some reason, Gotenks from the Dragon Ball superhero movie gets a leader, even though it barely makes an appearance and barely does anything. This is quite odd, but it is what it is. We got a new Gotenks lead in blue for the superhero one. So it starts off as Goten and Trunks, goes to Gotenks Fusion Hiccup, and it doesn't have a Z leader, so it's one of the few leads that looks like that gets a Z lead. And on its front side, it's got auto once per turn. When you use a blue card from your hand in the combo, draw 1 card. So that's either player's turn, so that's a nice way to draw cards and generate generate Z energy without losing cards from hand. And in its Awaken as well, when your life is at 4 or less, or you have 2 or more energy and there are at least 1 or more Son Gohan SH and Trunks SH cards in your Z energy, and or a drop, you may draw 1 card, untap 1, take your life down to 6 and flip over. And when you flip over, you're now Gotenks Fusion Hiccup, because you're now big Gotenks. It is quite interesting how, for the Goku and Vegeta fusion, if they're successful, they become Gogeta, but if they mess it up, they're Veku. But for Gotenks, if they're successful, they're Gotenks, and if they fuck it up, they're Gotenks. Like, how come there's not a different name for the mess up when it comes to it? That is a question I would like an answer to, if anybody knows. And it's got 2 autos in Activate Battle. First auto is when it attacks, draw 1 and becomes a 5k power for turn, so swing the draw and push 20k. And then the other auto is when this card attacks, a battle card with entry cost of 8 or more. The card this card attacked can attack during the opponent's next turn and negate this skill for the game. So that is interesting, that you just get to attack any 8 drop, and if you don't kill it, well, when this card attacks, battle card with entry cost of 8, this card attacked can't attack during your opponent's next turn and negate a skill for the game. So that's quite interesting. You get to use this skill once in a game, where if you attack 8 cost or more card, you just make it so you can't attack during your opponent's next turn, which is quite odd, but it does make sense given if you've seen the movie. And then we got the Activate Battle once per turn for 1 blue. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, and there are 1 or more Son Goten SH and Trunks SH cards in your combo area, you get to draw one card, switch up to one of your blue Gotenks SH cards in active mode, and then at the end of your turn switch to one of your energy active mode. So you get pay one and get that energy back, and you draw a card, but you got a combo with one Goten and one Trunks, and you get the re-standard Gotenks SH card to active mode, and we'll see what one that is. But for now, the Z Battle card that kind of comes with this or any SH blue SH deck is Son Goku Stronger Together. This is a 4 cost 2 cost 4k that requires 2 Z energy. Has Baron Deflect, 2 skills that shouldn't be on any card, really, like printed on. And it's also as if your leader is a mono blue. When this card is played, if your opponent has 11 or more cards in their hand, they place cards from their hand at the bottom of the deck in any order until they have 10 cards in their hand. And it's got an activate battle, which limit 1 if your leader's character name includes SH, which works with this lead, any of the yellow ones. That from the SH movie, so the Piccolo and the 2 Piccolos, and even the Gamma deck as well, because remember that's Gamma, that's got SH in it as well. You have 3 or more energy, and you remove this card from the game. Choose it to one of your blue battle cards with 2 or more character names, and it gains 10k power and triple strike for the battle. So yeah, that's quite interesting. Just any of your but it's on a blue battle card with 2 or more character names to gain 10k and triple strike. So that's quite interesting. It works better with the Gamma than I think it does with most cards in this deck, or any of the other decks, unless we see some more blue. And then some of the cards that go into it. So blue has 2 unisons, so we're seeing like red and green have no unisons, yellow get 1 and blue gets 2. And he gets an extra card as well. So both the unisons are quite basically the same. They're both 2 specified costs, 15ks. One is Son Goten tournament competitor, and the other one is Trunks tournament competitor. They both have Empower 3. They both have the same permanent, where if you have a card that's the ever character in its character name, you get the in play, you get to reduce the specified cost of this card in your hand by 1 blue. So if you have a Trunks in play, you can play Goten for one cost less, and Trunks if you have Goten in play. Then they both have the same. They both have similar autos, but a little bit of difference. So for Goten, it's if this card has 3 or more markers on it. When this card is played, your opponent places 1 card from their hand at the bottom of the deck. Whereas Trunks is, if this card has 3 or more markers, when this card is played, draw 1. So Goten reduces the amount of cards your opponent has in hand, where Trunks increases it. And they both have a +2 skill, which is basically the same, I think. Whereas activate main, draw 1 card, place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, then choose it to one of your cards with the ever character in its character name, and it gets 5k power for the turn. So they support the ever character in both their effects. And then we have a Wild Fighter is Born. This one is quite cool. It's activate main / battle, where limit 1 if your leader's character in card name includes Son Goten, Trunks, or Gotenks. Add up to 1 card with Goten, or add up to 1 card with Son Goten in its character name and 1 card with Trunks in its character name. Both blue with energy cost of 3 from your deck, or drop it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So this allows you to, for 1 energy, to get back your materials from your drop or from your deck. That's both for Trunks and blue, so you get a +1 on this card for this deck, which is quite cool. So if you use the materials, you get to grab them back as well. And speaking of materials, let's see what ones we've got. So we've got 3 Goten cards. So we've got Son Goten Tenacious Tag Team, Son Goten Developing Teamwork, and then Son Goten Improving Fast. And they're all 3 cost 15ks, all like this Son Goten SH. And they all have some interesting skills. So Tag Team, we have an auto when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 4 or less in play, place it at the bottom of his deck, so bottom decking 4 cost or less when it's played. And you can play activate its activate main, limit 1 for 1 blue. If your leader is a blue Trunks SH card or a blue Gotenks card, and you place this card from your hand at your drop area, search your deck for up to 1 blue Trunks SH card with energy cost of 3 and add it to your hand, or play it then shuffle your deck. So you could add, basically pay 1 to add, look for a Trunks and add to your hand, or play it to the board. And then Son Goten Develop Teamwork, he is a blocker with an auto where when this card is played, draw 1. And his activate main to play him for cheap is limit 1 for 1 blue. If a Trunks SH card is in use energy, play this card from your hand. So if you've got a Trunks in use energy, you get to play this out for 1. And it basically becomes a cantrip blocker. And the activate battle is once per turn. If a Trunks SH card is in your combo area, switch this card to active mode and it can't attack for the turn. But since it's activate battle, you can get 2 blocks out of this, which is quite nice. So you can block combo Trunks, then trigger this to restand to block again. And then it's got Sun Goten Fast Improving, so this is one that's good for using with the for Union Fusion, where Auto Limit 1, when this card is discarded from your hand by Union skill, you draw 1, and then the other autos place this card in its drop area. When your opponent attacks with a battle card, and you get the attack. So if you play it out through attacks we're going to see, you can eat attack, or use it for Union to draw a card for when you Union. And we're going to see how it unions with this Gotenks and the two Trunks cards. So we only get 2 Trunks cards, which is interesting, whereas Goten gets 3. We don't get 1, so we get the same one kind of tag team and defend teamwork. So those versions, but we don't get 1 like the Goten, which triggers when used by Union Fusion. But a tag team is basically the same as the Goten, with his activate main at least, but then it searches or plays a Goten. But it's also a little bit different, where if your leader is a Gotenks SH card, when this card is played, choose one of your opponent's unison cards with a specified cost of 1 and return it to his owner's hand. So that's a nice little buff to blue for dealing with 1 cost specified unisons like Gotenks and stuff, not against the Demigra and the Red Piccolo one. And then we have Trunks Defend Teamwork. He's the same, auto as Cantrip. Same way to play him, but he needs a Goten SH card and use the energy, and his skill is Revenge instead of Block here. And his activate battle is a little bit different. So once per turn, if the Sun Gohan the SH card is in your combo area, this card gets 5k power for the turn. So it's either defensively you can gain 5k power for the turn, or offensively gain it for the attack. And a Gotenks card, these can be used to go into is Gotenks Reckless Rush, 8 cost, 25k with Deflect and Triple Strike. So Deflect and 8 cost means it's out of the way of all the free counter plays. And Triple Strike on 25k is still quite strong. And its Union Fusion is for 3 blue. You draw 2 cards using a Goten and Trunks, so you can technically draw 3, so you plus 1 on this if you use the Goten, which is quite interesting. And it's got a permanent which is makes sense with the lead now, which this card can't be switched to active mode during your charge phase, as why the leader's effect to do all that stuff to restand the Gotenks is there. And it's also is when this card is played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignore and barrier it, and bottom deck it. So nice little bit of barrier removal that blue lacks, so this deck has got a little bit of it built into the deck. And then we got the last few blue cards we got with this deck as well. So we got Gamma 1 new hero and Gamma 2 new hero, plus a skillless Son Goku as well, so a never blue skillless Goku. So both these Gammas both have the old heroic skill, where when you play a never heroic battle card or activate a heroic extra card skill, you draw 1 and negate the skill for the turn. And Gamma 1 has critical, while Gamma 2 has also which you place this card in his owner's drop area. When a leader is attacked, you get the attack, which makes sense from the movie. And they both have an activate main, where limit 1 for 1 blue if you have 3 or more energy and a player has a certain card in play. So Gamma 1 is Piccolo on SH because that's who he fights in the film, and Piccolo because that's who Gamma 2 fights in the film in play. You get to play this card from your hand, so quite thematic with the movie, like Bandai tried to do with a few of the archetypes. Interesting, but not great. Like, you're heavily reliant on having a Piccolo SH card, but we'll see if there's one for this in the Ever color, or in the Ever half of blue. And the last card we have is Android 18 here to assist. This is one that works quite well with either blue or yellow, but it seems to work a little bit better with yellow. So it's Android 18 here to assist, free cost 10k. Permanent Bond 2, this card gains 5k power. And also, if you have a Krillin SHC battle card in play, when this card attacks, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, return it to his owner's hand, and this card gets 5k power and critical for the turn. That's what cool. So the Krillin SHC battle card we've seen is the one in yellow. We don't know if there's going to be one in blue for the Gohan deck. And in the activate main to play out for cheap, rather than paying free, is limit 1 by paying 1 blue or 1 yellow, either or. If you have a Z battle card in play, if you have a Z battle card in play, which is normally going to be Goten Krillin, so you can have that full benefit, play this card from your hand. So that's quite a cool card. Better for the Piccolo than it is for any other ones. And that is it for the blue decks we got revealed. Now we get to have a look at the SPRs. So the first SPRs they've shown us, and only so far, have been red, showing that the 2 SRs for, well, the SRs for the red decks are the ones getting SPRs. So we get one for the Spirit Bomb Bosmos for red, and the 4-drop in the Saiyan Trio. And then for Android 13, the only one that gets an SPR is the 7-drop Android 13. So these look quite nice, but they don't look as great as some of the previous sets we've had. Like, they look alright, they're not as amazing as previous ones. And really overall with the set for red, I'm not impressed. Outside Android 13, but I'm not sure if I would be running this Android 7 cost in the deck. But that's the SPRs. Then we go to the red promos as well. So we got starting against some TP promos, and first ones we got is red. So we have four for red. 2 are support for cards in the decks in the actual set, and 2 are legacy support, and legacy means older decks. So for red, we have an SS Sun Goku counter attacker. This is a one for the Saiyan Trio deck. It's a free cost 15k. Counter play limit 1, play this card, and a permanent where if your leader is a red Sun Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks future card, and you have a red Saiyan with evolve, and an energy cost of 3, you get to reduce this card's energy cost in your hand by 2. And an auto where when this card is played, you choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 15k power for the turn. So it gets like a counterplay similar to the Goku in Unit 7. Not sure if it's going to be great, but it is what it is. And then Android 13 gets an Android 14 and 15 the Invaders promo. So it's nice that we're getting some TPs that actually follow decks in this, like in this set. Whereas like some of the previous ones, you've just been mainly getting legacy support as majority, so makes not worth wanting the TPs. But this one's quite cool. And it's a free cost 15k, deflect dual attack, activate main / battle, limit 1 for 1 energy. If your leader is a red Android 13 card, you have 2 or more energy, and a red Android 13 card and use the energy. Your opponent may choose 2 of their battle cards and have them get minus 20k power for the turn. But if they don't, you get to play this card from your hand. So that's quite cool, and getting a dual attack 15k is not too bad. That's a decent TP promo, not massively needed for the deck, but it is a nice little addition. And then we're going to the legacy support. So the legacy support for red TPs is for the red Bardock's Crew deck and the red Broly extra card deck. So for Bardock, we got a 1 cost 4k, which limit 1, also limit 1 when this card is played. Look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck. Play up to 1 red Bardock's Crew card with entry cost of 1 among them with its auto skills negated for the turn, and shuffle your deck. That's a shame, because you don't get like the cantrip or anything like that, or searching effect or some of them, but you still get their little permanents or keyword skills as well, so that's not too bad. Just didn't really need the auto skills to get it for the turn mode film, because the deck's not that great anyway. And then we got the activate main for 2 red. If your leader is a red Bardock card, your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you discard this card from your hand. Choose up to 1 of your red Bardock cards with original power of 20k or less, and it gets 5k power and dual attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that's just bad. You're paying 2 red when your opponent has 3 or more energy, so turn 4 if you're going first, or turn 3 if you're going second, to lose this card from your hand, and all you're doing is giving dual attack and 5k power for your SR, which I'm not sure if that's great. Doesn't seem that impressive, but Bardock fans might be happy with that. And then Demon Approaches. This is an interesting extra card for the red Broly deck. It's got the same kind of permanent most of them have, where if your leader is a mono red Broly card, you use the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. And it's got 2 skills. Activate main limit 1, discard any ever mono red extra card from your hand. Draw a card and add to 1 card from your life to your hand, so extra self-awakening if need be. And activate battle, limit 1, choose up to 1 mono red Broly card in your battle area with entry cost of 6 or less. Add to 1 card with the same name as the chosen card from your deck to your hand and shuffle your deck. And that's relevant because the 6 cost Broly is got an effect where you can discard a card to minus something by 30k, and then has an extra benefit if you discard a card with the same name, which I think is might be that. No, I think it just restand itself, and if you discard a card with the same name, you draw 2 and minus something through barrier like 35k, which is quite cool. So there's a nice little bit of legacy support that actually helped that deck. I'm not sure. It does look like a good card for it, but I don't play the deck, so I'm not sure. But not only that, we don't get just the red promos, we get the green ones as well. So we got 3 for green, 1 for the Gogeta deck, which doesn't do that great, and 1 that can be used for either or, mainly for the Broly, but either or. And then some legacy support for the green Videl lead. So first one is Bulma in Search of Dragon Balls. Is a cantrip. When its card is played, draw 1 card. And activate main with limit 1. If your leader is a green Veku BR or green Gogeta BR card, you discard this card from your hand. You can look at top 7 from the top of your deck, add it to 1 mono green Gogeta BR card, amount it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. Now this isn't great. Like, it's okay. It can play, draw a card. and such for Gogeta, but that's not the issue. The main thing is how for the deck it's costly. We got to pay you got to pay to play out the 1-drops, and then pay to play using the X-Volt skills, which means you're paying more than most decks do to do what you want to do. Like a better card for this would have been one that you can activate the main, discard it to look at top 7 and free play out the 1-drops, like where the skills negated or skills not negated, so you can get the 1-drops out cheaper to do the X-Volt stuff. But I guess that's too much to ask for a green deck in Bandai's eyes. And then we have Golden Frieza, Commanding Presence. This is a 2-cost 10k with blocker, counterplay, just play this card, and a permanent where if it's your opponent's turn and you have a green battle card with entry cost of 8 or more in play, you reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1, so make it a 1 cost if you've got that big Broly 8-drop or the 8-drop Gogeta out. And it's got 2 autos, both of them at 1. First one is if your leader is green. When it's played, for the turn it can't be killed. And the other one is when it activates blocker, switch to active mode so you can get a dual block out of it. Not amazing, not great, but it could be there to help out if you need be. And then Great Saiyaman, another TP that seems alright, but this is way too costly and doesn't actually help the deck properly. Seems like that's like Bandai's finger green, just like give something that doesn't help, but make it seem like it helps. So this is an 8-cost deflect triple striker for 25k, so out the way of all the free counterplays. Is also as if your leader is a green Videl card. When this card attacks, choose all Videl battle cards, and for every 2 Videl in your drop, the chosen cards get 5k power for the turn. So you can give some of your Videl skillless cards quite a big boost. It's quite interesting. That's not too bad of an effect if you play it main like very archetype like as if it was pulled from the set. And then the other autos limit 1. When you use Spirit Boost to remove a marker from your unison, you may place this card from your hand under the unison. If you do, draw 1, and then choose one of your unisons and add a marker to it. So that's not too bad. You get to basically just use Spirit Boost and not lose anything because you replace this card in your hand and the marker from the unison by putting this underneath it. It's not too bad. But the activate main is where I feel they just kind of like didn't do it justice, where this requires you to have pay 3 green. If you have 4 more energy and there are 2 more Videl cards in your drop, play this card from your hand. Now I feel the better way to do that would have been to be able to pay less energy for it, like 1 or 2 energy. Maybe not have an energy restriction, and then play this from underneath your unison. So you can use that second auto and then make use of it from underneath it. That would be pretty cool. But they kind of like overturned it a little bit too much. But that is the green TPs. Now we move on to the next one, being the first secret rare for this set. So Bandai decided to show the first secret rare because I think the 3 were leaked. I'm not we didn't there was a leak going around about what the secret rares were, and people were unsure because we haven't seen anything about it. And then we got this release, and it seems like that leak might have been true. I'm not going to put up what the other 2 are described to potentially be, but this one kind of seems similar. Is worded similar to how it was for that leak. So it's Evil Saiyan Malice made flesh, a black 8-drop 40k secret rare with 2 autos and activate main. First auto is if your opponent's life is at 2 or more. When this card is played, look through your opponent's life and send it to 1 card with an energy cost of 7 from it from your opponent's warp. Your opponent shuffles their life, then play up to 1 battle card with energy cost of 7 or less from your opponent's warp to your battle area with its skills to get for the game. So you get the warp a card from look for the life, warp a card from it as long as you got 2 or more, and then place it from the warp with 7 cost or less, and the skills get for the game. That's pretty cool. And the second auto is once per turn. When your opponent plays a battle card with energy cost of 7 or less, you may send one of your battle cards to its owner's warp, and if you do, take control of the card. And that goes for barrier because nowhere does it say you choose the card they play. So you can get through barrier to take one of your opponent's card, but it does only trigger on the first card they play, which is unfortunate. Now the other activate main, the activate main you got is for 2 black. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, you get a player's card from your hand or warp, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and send this card to his owner's warp. Now that's really nice because it's one of the first black cards you can really play from anything that's not your hand, so being able to play it from your warp is really nice. And then just having barrier removal as well, and send it to warp as well is really good. Like black is one of the colours, like along with blue, that does like some decent barrier removal. that is not massively costly. But that is the first secret rare, so looking forward to seeing the other two. I wonder when Bandai show it to us, but yeah, that's a pretty decent secret. That's a very good black secret rare for the game, so that's quite cool. And then we go on to the last bit of the video, being the Webcam Locals results from this week. So for this week we only had 9 people, not too bad, still a decent amount. And these are results from it. So we had first place going to Shimon with his Mono Red Sid going 4-0. Second place was myself playing Red Yellow SS4 Kajita, which you'll see the upload on Monday, and the deck profile for it later on the week, next week. Then we had Big Annotation with his Yellow Sid going 3-1. Then we had Ricky with Red Yellow Sid in 3-1 in 4th. Then we had Symbio doing in his first event, his first Webcam Locals trying out with going Turtle School, going at even 2-2, so at least breaking even, and congrats on your first event. Then we have C-Duck 1 going 1-3 with his Red Green Bulma. And in 7th place we have Son of Paragus with his Piccolo SH build going 1-3. Johnny Septon coming in with his TN Hero as well with his first event going 0-4 unfortunately. And then Remy being at the bottom going 1-1 drop with Gamma as a standard Remy fashion. But that is it for today. That is a beastie video because we get a load of reveals now. We get 2 reveals a day, and we've gone through most of the archetypes already. So that is it for this one. Check back next week to have more spoilers, and check out some of the videos coming out next week for the Webcam Locals and the deck I use as well. So that's all for me. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.